Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Talented Universe on this 9th day of April. I can't believe it's almost mid-April now already. This is really, really kind of crazy. But before we go in, I just want to say some of our podcast link did not work, but that's life. But hopefully the rest of them will. LinkedIn is not working, so sorry, people that look at us on LinkedIn. But Marcia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. April 9th. And Easter is already done, which was early this year, which was
Yeah,
great.
it's gone. It's
But yeah,
gone.
I'm
So now we
I'm
just have to
ready.
keep
Let's
rolling.
go.
Let us go. Well, I would like to introduce a wonderful person, Samuel J. Bennett. When I started talking to him to be on the show, he'd only done a background of a vertical, and now he just did one, just released what, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks, three, something like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, and he's one of the major people, so it's kind of cool. So I'm excited that he's here, and I am just going to go right in, and let's see, we're trying to get some comments in the chat room. Rosa Singerman says hi. You know Rosa?
If I do, I'm not remembering half this time. I'm sorry, Rosa.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully, you'll maybe she's just watched you. Maybe that's what it is.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah, Rosa isn't as an actor, so she could have known who you were. So, or she's seen your work. But I am so excited now. You told me before we went on air that you've known about verticals for a while.
Mm-hmm.
After you did your first one and your friends started asking you what you did, how did you explain a vertical to them, or didn't you even try?
That's a good question. It's hard to describe them sometimes. Yeah, it's such a relatively new format of entertainment, right? And within the film industry, that to like your everyday person, if you just say, "Oh, I was in a vertical," they don't know exactly what you're talking about, unless they're really up with it in terms of social media activeness. Typically, I don't know if this is the best description, but I pretty much tell them that it feels like it's the modern day soap opera in a way, like how it is the new go-to form of entertainment that is similar to what a soap opera is. However, of course, it's shot vertically, so you could just view it on your iPhone or your smart device, and they're very catchy and they hook you in. And every minute or so, there's always some form of hook to keep you intrigued. And so it's this whole new and very unique style of entertainment.
And you know what? No one has said exactly that. We have had over 100 actors from verticals. Not one of them have said the totally same thing. Isn't that right, Marcia?
That's true.
It's all been different aspects of where they're coming from. So it's really interesting how that works. But and the one that you just did, and of course my brain, never works right. So, my janitor, no, that's
My janitor
my
dad.
janitor dad is the final boss.
Yeah.
So you were playing the boss's son that had no clue what he did for a living.
Yes, that's right. I was playing the role of Jasper, which was this boss's son, who's secretly this trillionaire, billionaire type of guy. However,
you lived in poverty pretty much.
Yeah, lived in poverty. He wanted me to learn a lot of good life lessons, stay humble. So he didn't let me in on the family fortune or that knowledge until a little later in life.
Much later, like in your 20s, I think you said that you were playing in your 20s. So
yep.
That was a long time he kept that quiet.
It is a long time to hold that out.
Yeah. What is your most favorite fond memory of that shoot?
Ooh, that's a good question. It was a really fun one. So verticals are interesting because you shoot a lot in a relatively short amount of time. Typical shoot lengths are around 10 to 12 days to do 110 pages of filming, which is a lot. That's aggressive. But I remember so Nick and Gabrielle, they were the two 1 and 2s on the call sheet. Nick played my dad, and Gabrielle ends up playing my stepmom in the production. But I just remember, some of those down moments in between takes, just getting to be with them and chat and getting to know them and kind of building up that bond and camaraderie. And they're very experienced in the vertical world and a lot of really cool things within it. And so it was just fascinating just picking their brains and getting their thoughts and their opinions and what sort of things I should be doing too, if this is a form I want to work in more.
Yeah. And by the way, Gabrielle says hi. She wanted to come on and say hi to you on live, but she's working on a vertical.
Of course she is.
Of course she is. But she wanted me to convey that she says hi and everything. Fond memories and all that good stuff.
I love Gabrielle. She's the best.
Yeah, she is. We had her on just a couple of weeks ago, and she was great. She was great. Marsha, I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes.
Okay. So Samuel, I usually have my Wayback Machine cartoon up, but in honor of something we're going to talk about later, I have my other characters in the background. But your Wayback Machine, did you wake up one day and say, I'm going to become an actor, or how did that process work for you?
That, great question. So I grew up in a very, performing centric family. Like, my mother started a musical theater program at my middle school, and that's how I originally got into the arts. And so I grew up doing theater for fun. But then when I was 16, I had a great opportunity to perform out of an equity theater in Seattle in West Side Story. And I fell in love with the professionalism of it all. And I was like, okay, maybe this is something I could do as a career later in life. This was really fun. However, and this will kind of tie into what we're going to talk about in a little bit, I was a huge baseball athlete, and I was going to go play at some junior colleges in Washington State, where I'm from, after high school. But then I was class of 2020 for high school. So COVID came on through and really messed up some of those sport opportunities I had. And so then I was like, well, shoot, what do I do now? And I was like, well, I really love acting, and I've never done film. That seems interesting. And so I got my feet wet on a random student film at a local school and instantly fell in love with it. And so I just kept working at it, got private training, and started getting slowly better parts. And kind of around that time, I read Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, which is a brilliant read. And kind of after reading that, I felt very inspired and motivated to say, yeah, I'm an actor. Let's chase after this thing.
So then what was your next step?
Yeah, so the next big leap after getting more training and getting some slightly better film opportunities was eventually moving to Los Angeles. At the beginning of 2024 is when I made the jump and moved out there and just put all my cards on the table. And I would say that's when things have really started to get moving for me in my career, is actually being out in LA.
When did you film? Horror is not my genre. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But for you, I watched Betty's Revenge.
Oh, you did? Oh, Marsha, that is a big sacrifice for you.
Huge.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. More
did
power
that
to you.
kind of off-kilter cuckoo film come into your...
Yeah, absolutely. Betty's Revenge, that was such a great experience. So we actually filmed that just this past December. So just about 4-ish months ago. And that was out in Dallas, Texas, there's a small independent studio out there, B22 Films. And, an audition came across me for this film, and it was a my type, you know, college age guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, the classic thing. And I ended up auditioning and was fortunate enough to get cast in it. And so this was my first kind of venture into horror, which was fun, especially like lower budget level horror, getting to see what that experience is like. And as you see in it, I end up getting pretty bloody at the end. So that was pretty fun.
Oh, well, your character is Miles, and all I'm gonna say and you can watch it on Fawsome actually. And so if you're a horror fan, it was fun to watch actually, and that's big to say for me. Is poor Miles. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the Miles does not he does not get out of this lightly. That's for sure. Yeah, I will say that was a great experience. Brett Bretman, the director, was phenomenal, and Tiffany McDonald, she was a producer. They were a great working relationship. You know, sometimes you're on sets and you can feel the contention, and it's kind of uneasy, and people are at each other's throats. Whereas this one, I think they know what their lane is, and they know what they make. And I think for what it is, they do it really well. And they just,
I agree with you.
It's a great on-set environment. Everyone was having a good time. Great director to work with. It's just a great company.
And the actual set itself was really interesting. There are two pieces that came to mind. One was the couch, the kind of half circular couch was great. The white couch, which I loved. And then there was also in the corner on one of the tables is what looked like a Thorin's disc gramophone, which I have one, and they have these little discs, and it's like a music box, and you play it. And I don't know if that's what it was, but that's what it looked like to me. So I love touches like that. Yeah, but it was a fun film. Are you thinking about doing more horror? Did you like that much?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was so fascinated to watch it after filming it. Because when you're filming it, it's not scary at all. Like it just feels like another day at work, another day on set. But it was awesome to then watch it afterward and be like, oh, this is what they did in post to make the jump scare work, or that's really gruesome looking blood. It's definitely a genre that I'm very open to working more in and very curious about, because there's a lot of good things that can happen in horror. So I'm excited to see where things go with that.
Okay. Now, Michael, do you want me to jump into where I want to go?
The thing that I know you're going to jump? Well, let me just have it back for a few minutes, and then we'll go into what you're going to talk about for the rest of the show. Okay, fine. You said you might want to do it again. Did you? Was the horror experience filming what you thought it would be? Like you said, it didn't seem scary when you did it.
Right.
But is it what you expected, or did you expect you were going to be scared on set just because of what it is?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I guess part of me was thinking it may be a similar filming experience to like most things I've done. However, I've seen interviews or seen people to where on set in real time, they actually try to terrify the actors or performers somehow, right? Like, way total different type of film and way bigger budget. But I think of like the movie It, where they purposely like kept Pennywise the clown and that actor away from the children to try and terrify them during actual takes. And so I was curious to see if they would do anything like that. I would say for the most part, though, it was a fairly traditional filming experience and normal. However, just heightened stakes a lot. The stakes were always very high because of just the situation the characters were in. And so I think it kind of met some of my expectations, but also surprised me in some ways too.
Were you surprised when you were filming your vertical a couple of months back? Was there anything that surprised you then? But you had been on a vertical, but was it different being a day player versus being one of the like secondary primary characters?
Yeah, I think On most things, as opposed to being like a day player or a principal character versus being like a major supporting or a lead, you just get to have so much more of a relationship with the team, especially the director. You get to work with the director more and have more of a dialogue and a conversation about your character and choices made. One thing that surprised me about verticals is that sometimes, and this is film generally sometimes, but sometimes they need a very particular look or a particular reaction or a very specific thing, and you just have to give it to them. So you can come in and be like, my character would do this, and I'm going to make this choice.
No.
And they let you do that initially, but then they come and say, okay, that's great. Now, can you do this? We need exactly this. Because these vertical companies, it's a well-oiled machine by this point. They know what they're doing. They know the product that their fans like. And so you just have to be able to deliver that for them.
Yeah, we've heard that from other people. And actually some of them say some of it's changing slightly, which a lot of them are very happy about. There's more genres coming in.
Yeah.
And which is great. I mean, but you know, it's the way it is. I mean, you're right. I mean, they're there for money.
Yeah.
And they know what's going to make them money. So, you know, it's just the way it is. Is there anything you would tell anyone that is thinking about either going into acting or maybe in verticals in particular, that you would just tell them as a guideline that might help them get an audition, get the part, or anything that you could give advice?
Yeah, I would say generally, just don't be afraid to make bold choices and just make a fool of yourself. I think the greatest actors in the world are just extremely confident in making bold choices. And that's why they're so amazing and why they draw us in, is because they're willing to push the boundary. And so even when it comes to doing like a self-tape for a vertical or for anything, if your instincts are telling you to do something, even if you think it's crazy and totally not right for the script, I think it's better to just follow your instincts and do it anyways. I think casting and directors appreciate authenticity and you bringing yourself and your flair to the project. And so I would tell any young actor to just do that. Follow your instincts, follow yourself, and go for it. But then be very willing and humble enough to pivot when told to pivot on a thing like a vertical. Like, you can't be too set in your ways to be like, no, I know better than you. At the end of the day, we're actors. We're here to deliver you
what you want.
So be willing to pivot.
Yeah, that's good advice. Okay, Marcia, now we're ready for baseball.
Yes, well, anybody who knows me or who's watched a few of these knows that I'm a humongous Major League Baseball fan. Growing up, my son, my sister, my dad, we huge fans of who you might see on. I always know which direction I am. C. Metzi is Little Mermaid that I created. She's the biggest Mets fan from all the oceans. So I brought her with me today. But Samuel, you mentioned that you have a history in athletics, baseball, and got really close to maybe professional baseball.
Yeah, some college baseball.
Yeah. And so this project, which is called Heavy Hitters, is an unusual take on blending actual athletes with acting and baseball. Can you tell me more about this project?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, it's called Heavy Hitters, and it's a baseball TV show, which when that kind of came across me, that was like a dream come true moment. I'm like, whoa, something that combines my former athletic abilities and passions and love with my current ones with acting. But it generally follows the storyline of college age baseball athletes who go through the MLB draft process. And it follows kind of a pre-draft baseball camp that they're put through a combine and things like that, and the drama that ensues. And then post-draft what ends up happening, who gets drafted where in the minor leagues, and kind of that whole experience. And so it was it's a really, really fascinating, very cool story of combining real life baseball into TV.
Yeah, there have been more than a couple of movies and series about NFL draft, and but yet baseball is something that is fascinating, yet hasn't really been covered that much in a series like this.
Mm-hmm.
And you also had Nelson Figueroa, who actually pitched for the Mets at one time.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot. So you filmed in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. What locations did you use in Florida? Were you in like Tampa or?
Yeah, so we were in the Tampa Bay and St. Pete area there in Florida. And so we filmed at a lot of like retired spring training facilities and baseball fields around there. I had never been out there before, and my goodness, it's baseball heaven out there.
Yes,
There's
sir.
field on every other corner. And so we got to film at the beach and at these resort-like hotels, and then also so many of these baseball fields where we actually got to play baseball, which was a really fun experience.
So did that give you kind of the itch again?
Oh, always. It always does. I'll tell you that the audition experience really gave me the itch again, because I remember when it came across me, like most things, there was initial self-tape and a couple rounds of those. But then after a certain point, they're like, okay, we really enjoy you. You're a good actor, but we need to make sure you can play baseball and you're not just lying to us.
People haven't done that before, right?
We'll say anything to get on a set. And so in New York City, where the production company is based out of, they actually flew out all of the actors who had a callback, and we had a baseball tryout where they had coaches, like college level coaches, local field, and it reminded me of my playing days, where I was like, I've done this before as like prospect showcase tournaments where we're just being put through the ringer, and they were just making cuts throughout the day. They said, they're like, hey, if you were lying about your baseball ability, don't show up. And
don't embarrass yourself.
Because their whole thought was that one reason why sometimes sports shows, or especially baseball and film and TV, doesn't work is because it looks really fake. And it doesn't look like real baseball players are playing. And so they're like, of course we want great actors, but we also need great baseball players. And I just remember they even had us just scrimmage each other. And so I got to get back in the batter's box, face a live pitcher, got to field, I pitched some, so I got to pitch too. And so that really gave me the itch. I was like, oh, I just want to get back into a game and play 9 innings, and this is just so much fun.
So you're a pitcher. You're a pitcher?
Yes. So in my own playing days, I was a third baseman and a pitcher. And those were my kind of two positions. My character in the show, his name's Johnny Burns. He's a shortstop. And so I transitioned a little bit. But I love pitching though. It's incredible.
Well, I tell you, pitchers have the most guts to me. I mean, everybody's watching you. Every
play almost.
Every hair on your head, every movement of your brow, every movement of your shoulder. It's incredible to be able to stand there and deliver, and I admire that. So I'm looking forward to seeing. And you also worked with Brian O'Halloran. I don't know if you know about Clark. Did you know his history?
A little bit. So Brian was in the show, of course. I never got, sadly, the chance to work too closely with him directly.
Okay.
But I remember hearing about Brian, and some of the other actors that did get to be with him just loved him and had such a great experience.
Yeah, and when you talk about the Northeast area, of course, he's from New York, and worked with Kevin Smith and Clerks and all that kind of. And I happen to be a huge Clerks fan and Kevin Smith fan, so I actually went up back up to New Jersey to they had a convention there and whatnot, and I've seen him at San Diego Comic-Con, and so, but the idea of heavy hitters and real baseball players in a series is hugely intriguing, and I think it would be very popular. And so please keep us up to date on that, because I want to follow that as well as your other exploits.
Absolutely. It was such a great opportunity, especially as a young actor, early in their career. It was such a great learning experience to become a series regular on a show, even at the indie, and having that experience of filming every day, filming lots of things, and also getting to be around so many other experienced actors. Like a lot of the adults they brought in are been working people. Like,
yes.
I remember my parents in the show. My dad is Christopher Atkins of Blue Lagoon from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my mom was Emma Caulfield Ford, who was a series regular in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And so just getting to be in the midst of other working actors who have had successful careers and getting to pick their brains and learn from them was really cool. I'll share one fun experience. Are you familiar with the show One Tree Hill?
Yeah, I am.
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing, I'll admit it. Yeah.
So growing up, me and my sisters watched that show. We loved it. And the character Dan Scott is like, the villain, the kind of antagonist character in a lot of that show. Well, he's played by Paul Johansson. And I was on set one day. I had finished. They're taking my mic off. And suddenly I hear, hey, let's bring Paul to set. Let's bring Paul to set. And I look and I turn around behind me, and there's Dan Scott from One Tree Hill. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what? And it was Paul Johansson. And so I went and chatted with him for like 15 minutes. And it was just crazy to someone I grew up watching. Me and him were now considered co-workers in a way. So that was a great experience.
Wow.
And last about this, you got to go to Citi Field. Did you get to go to Citi Field?
So we, yes and no. So the production company was great. They got us suites at Citi Field and also at the Yankee Stadium to like go and watch games and participate in that, which was amazing. We didn't actually film at Citi Field. At least I didn't. Maybe some other people did. But I do know Nelson Figueroa, former Met.
Yes.
He still works with the Mets, I think.
Yes, on WPIX, yeah.
And so he was very helpful in connecting us with lots of former major leaguers and current ones, and getting those connections. Like Oswaldo Cabrera, he's a current New York Yankee. I got to film a scene with him.
Neat.
Opposite of each other. Lou Piniella, the former,
oh my gosh,
former Mariners manager and Cubs manager, he appears in the show as well. Got to get a signed ball from Lou, which was amazing. And just all of these MLB legends, which was incredible.
See, now when the show starts to be shown, we have to get you all baseball cards. So you have to get a Samuel J. Bennett or Johnny baseball card.
Absolutely.
Okay, Michael, I give up now.
You give up? Okay, fine.
We could talk about this all day.
We could. I just wanted to throw up some comments. They wasn't questions, but they're comments. And here it comes. Then Lima says, you're amazing.
Thank you.
And Gary Galloway says, I look forward to following your career.
I know Gary. Thank you so much, Gary.
I thought you might, yes. But in closing, Samuel, where do you see yourself heading in your career? Do you want to continue with verticals? You're going to try them out? Are you looking at more series, or are you just trying to get anything you can? And if it has baseball in it, even better.
If it has baseball in it, even better. I'd love to continue to do baseball things. For me, I'll never say never say no. I'm definitely open to doing more verticals. I don't know if for me personally, I want that to be my main. line of attack. An exciting thing coming up for me is I'm doing another feature film here that's filming in about a month called Brotherhood, and it's actually a feature film musical.
Okay.
Hoping.
This should be the first film I've done that ends up getting a theatrical release. So that will be very exciting.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. And then I actually felt pretty inspired I wanted to work on my craft some more and up my game because there's a film called Hamnet that came out this last year.
Yes.
And I watched it, and that just really inspired me that, hey, this is the type of stuff I want to do one day. So I need to get better. So I ended up going through a rigorous audition and interview process, and was recently accepted to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts out in London. So
congratulations.
I'll be going across the pond for a short little while, taking a little break from actively working and stuff, just to work on the craft itself for a year or so. And
well, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was hoping that you would throw some musical stuff in there, and so I'll be excited to see that coming up. Thank you.
Of course.
And is there anything that you know of that's coming out that you'd like to tell people about to look for, or hopefully heavy hitters at some point?
Yes, hopefully heavy hitters. Let's stay on the edge of our seat. We'll see where that ends up coming out. I would say the most recent thing other than the vertical was Betty's Revenge. It's on Amazon, and I think other platforms, so you can check that out. I'm very active in the theater scene as well, and so I'm assistant directing a show right now, which is great. But I would say Brotherhood, that movie musical, it started filming on the 6th was their production, so it won't come out for a while, but
it's not as fast as the verticals that come out in a couple of months after you.
That's a couple months of filming right there, but that's a really powerful story, kind of talking about America and immigration and things like that through the form of a movie musical, which is really unique. And it's not like a campy one. It's more serious. It's more of a drama. And so keep your eyes peeled in the next year or so for Brotherhood.
Excellent.
We will be looking for that. So on behalf of Talented Universe, thank you so much for coming. And Marcia, thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And just so people know what's going on, we've got 3 more vertical actors and probably more coming out in the next week or two. We have Max Reardon from the UK, so you might want to look him up.
Yeah.
He will be here tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and 5 p.m. if you're in the UK. And then we have one of the other co-stars that was with Samuel. We have Ray Buffer from My Janitor's Dad is the Final Boss. He will be with us on the 13th of April, which I believe is Monday, at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. The next day we have Michael Waddle. He will be on 2 p.m. on Tuesday Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time. So that's what we have confirmed so far. So everybody out there, we hope to see you then. And everyone, thank you all for coming. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.